Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something intense, a system of discipline so absolute it's actually kind of frightening to people on the outside. We're talking about an ancient method for building truly unbreakable consistency.
So let's just chew on that for a second. What if your discipline was so strong it actually scared people? I mean, really think about that, because that question, it gets us right to the core of this powerful system that Zen monks came up with centuries ago. And the whole point of it was to turn you into the kind of person who just doesn't quit.
And the best way to understand this, I think, is through a story. So, meet Raphael. He's a successful programmer, super smart, great at his job. But he was stuck, trapped in this cycle that, let's be honest, probably sounds familiar to a lot of us. You know the one. You start a new habit, you're all in, and then 2 weeks later, it's gone.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with what I'm calling the cycle of failure, Raphael's struggle. Then we'll get into the secret sauce, the monk's irreversible vow. After that, we'll look at how he actually built his unbreakable system, how he planned for life's inevitable chaos, and finally, we'll see why the end result was, well, scary.
Okay, section 1, the cycle of failure. Let's really dig into this pattern, you know? That feeling of starting with so much motivation, only to watch it all fall apart.
So for Raphael, the week was like clockwork, and not in a good way. Monday, he's on fire, totally motivated. But then Wednesday rolls around and that little voice starts up, right? The negotiation. Maybe I'll just skip today. By Friday, it's over. Complete surrender. And then Sunday, he's back to making all these promises to himself for next week. And you see, no app, no reward chart, none of that stuff worked. Because the problem wasn't his motivation. He was fighting a battle against his own brain's wiring.
But hitting rock bottom with this cycle is actually what led to his breakthrough. He stumbled upon this secret from Zen monks that just flipped the entire problem on its head. It wasn't about more willpower or trying harder. Nope, it was about a total shift in who he was.
And that secret is a concept called Gyoji. It's a Japanese Zen term, and it basically means continuous practice. And the key part is without gaps. I mean, none. To put that in perspective, in a temple like Aiheiji, a bell has been ringing at 3:30 in the morning, every single day since the year 1200, and the monks just get up. The question of, should I? It's not even a thing. It doesn't exist in their reality.
And this points to a crazy smart psychological trick the monks figured out. See, our brains have two folders for commitments. You've got your reversible ones. I'll try to meditate. That folder is basically an open invitation for your brain to start negotiating. But then you have the irreversible commitments, things like I am a meditator. When a commitment goes in that folder, it becomes part of who you are. And poof, the internal debate just vanishes.
So Raphael decided to make his commitment irreversible. He didn't just think it, he wrote it down, signed it like a contract, and then he posted it where everyone could see it. And this is pure genius because it taps into some deep neuroscience. See, Harvard researchers found that when we go public with something, our primal brain, the lizard part, sees failure as a social death sentence. It feels like a threat to our survival, and all of a sudden, the pain of looking like a fool in public becomes way, way worse than the pain of just doing the work.
But here's the thing. Social pressure can only get you so far, right? It wasn't the entire fix. He was still waking up every morning fighting his own biology. So that's when he realized he had to build a system, a truly unbreakable one, using a couple more principles he learned from the monks.
Okay, pillar number 1, non-negotiable hours. He picked 5 a.m. And what's so crucial to understand here is that this wasn't about him trying to become a morning person or being more productive. Not at all. He chose 5 a.m. for one reason, to eliminate everything else. Think about it. At 5 in the morning, the world is quiet. No texts, no emails, no kids asking for breakfast, no excuses. The entire question of when just gets deleted from the equation.
But our brains are sneaky, right? His brain found a new loophole. It stopped negotiating when to do the work and started negotiating what work to do. Should I do push-ups today? Or maybe reading? Or maybe meditate? And that little bit of variety, that choice, was the enemy of consistency. Every micro decision was like a tiny crack in the foundation, and his old habits were trying to crawl back through. He had to eliminate the what to.
So we just locked it down. This simple, almost robotic routine, 20 push-ups, 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of reading, the exact same thing in the exact same order every single day for 90 days. I mean, his friends actually told him he was being robotic, and that's when he knew it was working. Because the goal was not to be exciting or creative. The goal was to make it so automatic that his thinking brain could just check out.
And this lines up perfectly with the science. There's this great research from MIT that shows it takes about 66 days on average of doing the same thing in the same context for a switch to flip in your brain. A part of your brain called the basal ganglia, which is basically your autopilot, takes over. And after that point, you're not deciding to do the habit anymore. Your body just does it.
Okay, but we all know life isn't a perfect lab experiment. It's messy, it's chaotic, you get sick, you have to travel, family emergencies pop up. These are the moments that break the chain. So, the Gyoji system had to have a plan for chaos.
So, picture this. It's day 40. Raphael is facing the ultimate challenge. He has to be at the airport at 4 in the morning. His hotel doesn't have a gym. I mean, this is the classic 100% valid excuse, right? This is the point where pretty much everyone else would say, well, I'll take a rest day. And boom, the gap appears. The chain is broken.
But not Raphael. His solution? He went into the airport bathroom and did his push-ups right there on the floor. Yeah, people probably stared at him like he was crazy, but it didn't matter. And that moment right there is the heart of Gyoji. It's not about having the perfect workout. It's only about continuity. The practice can shrink down to almost nothing, but it can never, ever stop.
So how did he know to do that? This is the secret weapon. He copied another practice from the Zen monasteries called pre-solutions. It's simple, but it's a game changer. He literally sat down and listed out every possible thing that could go wrong. Rain, getting sick, a late night at work. And next to each one, he wrote down the solution in advance. By doing that, he completely removed the need to make a decision when he was tired or stressed. His willpower wasn't wasted on debating what to do. It was all saved for just doing it.
So, fast forward to the end of the 90 days. He's built this unbreakable system, and something unexpected started to happen. The change in him was so deep, so profound, that it actually started to weird people out.
I'm not kidding. His friends actually said to him, "Dude, your consistency is scary." And when he heard that, he knew he had won. But why scary? Because his new identity, this person who just does the thing, held up a mirror to everyone else. It proved that all their excuses, "I'm too busy, I'm too tired," weren't real reasons. They were just a lack of an irreversible commitment.
And that, right there, is the ultimate point of the Gyoji system. Forget productivity hacks. This isn't about building a habit. This is about forging a new identity. You're not trying anymore. You're not a person who tries to meditate. You are a meditator. You just are.
So that leaves us with one last, kind of heavy question to think about. A system like this, it requires a death and a rebirth. The death of the you that negotiates and quits to make room for the birth of the you that is unbreakable. So the question is, what part of your current self would you have to let die to become that person?